back to your daily dose. One of the joys of doing this is first introducing my pal Susan, and then saying, "Hi, I'm Robert." Is not knowing is truly the art, and I think it's something that bears repeating. To say that we don't know what's going to happen, because this is part of who we are. It's part of our relationship. It's part of what we're growing, and it's such a big part of this thing we call improvisation.
Yeah.
And I'd like to deconstruct that just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the broad term of improv, as we say, whose line is it anyway? That's the most known. It's performative, right? And here we are doing this thing. I think my goal at this point, what I'm seeing, what we're building is a democratization of improvisation and a revolution within that, because it's not bringing something to people. It's kind of reminding them of something that's already theirs.
Right.
And then realizing, oh, I already had this. And it's like, yes, and there's more for
Run
you.
with it. Yes.
How do you feel about that? And what's been your experience in that regard?
Oh, it's freeing. It's so fun. It is kind of an aha moment when people see that. It's kind of amusing, like, oh, and like your dad in the film, it's like, oh yeah, we're doing this right now. In our games with the Jam for Joy and the other structures that you've created for playing, there are guidelines, there are rules, if you will, to what the game is, the structure.
And you guys break them all the time.
Whatever are you talking about?
And I love it when you do.
I'm sure. No. And so each one is different, right? It's a different game, and you're a blank slate. You don't know, and then something happens, and what you coach us to do, and what we eventually figure out is what it means to give a gift to our scene partner. It could be the smallest thing. I could go like this, and you he just threw the baseball I threw him. I just threw you a baseball and you just took a bite out of it.
Rawlings. So I love what you said in so many ways. And I was just watching something this morning, Liza Minnelli on CBS Sunday Morning, who, she's incredible, a legend. And she talked about immediately they're heaping the praise on her. Of course, she is who she is. She's incredible. And she said, the best thing I ever did was surround myself with wonderful people and tell them how wonderful they were. And I get even choked up thinking about that now, because I said, that's it. That's what we're doing. When you just said give a gift, everything is about letting the other person know. This is where improv, in the form we're doing it, meets namaste, right? The inner light in me salutes the inner light in you. It's the game of you. That's that simple game we play. That's what it's all about. And my dear friend and longtime player, way more experienced than me, Pat Short, shout out, up in Portland Comedy Sports. He called it out when I was playing there and performing, putting on a presentation last week. He's like, these are barely games. And I said, that's right. And that could have been heard like, oh yeah, what you're doing doesn't matter. No, he meant it as a compliment. He's like, you're doing just enough to let people know this is good for them, and then letting them create the space. And that, I hope, is unique and inclusive.
You said, I hope it's unique. I think Pat's testimony, or Pat's comment to you is testimony that it is. He's been doing this 40 years. Yeah. So he probably knows and sees that and says that. One of the things that you do is help us, newbies, understand when we've hit that moment. You'll celebrate when we might still think we're lost or something, and that teaches us by doing.
I love that you said that. And that's right. Well, you said a couple key things there. Celebrate, number one, which is we don't honor, every victory counts, right? We're playing the Davis Finney world too. Celebrate every moment when that happens. And then the more often you become aware of that, the more often you can therefore create, not just for yourself, but for others. Here's a
Yeah.
fun thing. Here's a great gift. You know, the kids the other day were having a rough moment in a car. We've been on the road for a long time, 3,000 miles in 2 weeks. And Francesca was just done with it. She, I am tired of this car. And we're like, okay. And we had taken away their phones, which was just, right. We were trying to make them aware of the fact that we're now at our destination. We want to come here in a good mood. And you know what we did? We started playing What's Not Wrong with Your Life, a modified form, because if it sounds too improv-y, they're all going to abandon and run away from me. My family won't do that. But I just started saying, you know, what are you grateful for? And we started throwing around grateful. And I'm telling you, the car changed in 2 minutes.
Oh, I'm going to cry. Oh my gosh. That's really
Save
cool.
those tears for the next episode.